Okay, this is Andy Lee Graham, and I'm in the country of Colombia, and I'm trying to use this microphone because I want to show you something that requires me to be a little distance from the condenser microphone on the smartphone. This is my room, and I'm zen in the art of motorcycle maintenance. I'm photographic memory. I can remember where every single thing is in the room, and I don't really need to be organized. Contrary to a lot of people that require a lot of organization. I'm more or less in heaven when there's chaos. Let's see if I can put this microphone on my thing. What I don't like about these microphones, see, is I'm like, say 8 feet away from the thing, and it's hard to say whether the condenser microphone's picking it up or this, but if it's really doing right, it's probably going to be a consistent, steady sound. And but of course, I should always talk, clearly and articulate and think. But today I'm going to talk about backpacks. I was laughing. I'm collecting a bunch of pictures on different things that I need to do exercises for on my knees. Okay, so I collected some pictures, and these pictures are I can show them to you. What they are is different pictures explaining what I need to do to protect my knees. Okay, and then what I did is I was going to a picture trying to talk. I have a front pack and I have a backpack, so I have two backpacks. Where's the other one? Okay, I think it's behind the bed. You got to be real careful when you put it behind the bed. They'll actually mold. You got to be real careful in concrete rooms about mold. You really, always need to do some certain things. That's why I got this fan running, and I put it in the window, and it blows in and out. There's two windows here, one really huge window, well, actually 3 windows in this room. But I try to get cross flow ventilation. But the point is this: is that I did a search for a picture of a person with a front pack on, and this guy's like doing a rant. It was kind of the silliest thing I ever heard of. Is he was ranting about people wearing their backpacks on their front. Okay, and I just don't understand why you would ever rant about that. Obviously, there's hundreds of reasons. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a lot of information that I've learned in 26 years of carrying a backpack. I got a front pack. A lot of them call them day bags. Some people call them computer bags. Some people call them rucksacks. That's in Australia. I think they call them a rucksack. But the reason why this was so funny, and I found 2 different articles where these guys were ranting about how stupid it was to wear your backpack on the front. So I should demonstrate what he's talking about. When you put your pack on the front, that's what he's talking about. Because there's people that literally walk carrying their backpack on the front. And I was making a video because there's certain times when it would be smart for me to do this because of different. What happens is that all physical pain, in a lot of ways, is a muscle imbalance. Okay, so if you have obviously a person that's got a beer belly that's really weird, really big out here, he or she is putting a tremendous load on the front of their body, according to how it settles. But the body is sort of balanced, but again, it's not. But if you take a really heavy backpack, which I have 40-pound backpack on the back, but then I have a 20-pound one on the front. What am I talking about? Muscle balance. So the reason why I really like this is because when I put that 40-pound backpack on the back, I have a 20-pound counterbalance. Okay, and but there's so many reasons why why people should or could or would, or you would think it's not a big deal them carrying it on their front. I mean, there's just a lot of reasons. Okay, but the biggest thing that this person acting as if he was a traveler or he understood anything travel, he doesn't understand that the prime directive for travel is that you enjoy yourself. Okay, so how you do it is really up to you. Now, I only get concerned when somebody's doing something that is dangerous. Okay, and I will say that these dry bags that won't breathe, that you can drop in the river and water, are not very good idea. Why? Because if you leave it sitting for a while, there will be condensation inside these bags. And I actually did a really great thing. I collected all these things to put my passport in, and I actually put mode on the outside of my passport, because it was too airtight and the water inside of it condensated. See, going up and down, taking in air from a different place, then changing the temperature causes condensation. But the prime directive of travel is to enjoy yourself. So truly, I don't really care what kind of backpack a person has. I don't care what kind of bag they have. All I ever concerned with is trying to get them to realize that having a black backpack looks like every other backpack on the carousel, and it's really not a good idea. Okay, because you're going to have somebody grab your backpack and take it away, and you're going to do it. Especially when you have one of these trolley cart ones. They're a dime a dozen. They're cliche. But the prime directive is to enjoy yourself. So I was looking at the thing, and I was trying to get my legs in balance. Okay, so obviously, in a lot of ways, carrying any kind of weight, whether it's fat, visceral fat, or subcutaneous, so the body fat on the front of your skin, this is an excess weight. So I've lost about 15. I really lost about 20 pounds since I started trying to get my knees replaced. I'm not doing my knee replacement yet. But there's so many things that I do that I'm going to do. These are not going to be in any specific order, but like I always have I've recommended for years that when you're sitting in a restaurant or anywhere in the planet, anywhere, absolutely universe, you should always have your foot through the strap of your day bag. Okay? And I'm going to talk about it, day bag versus backpack. Okay? There's many different types of backpacks. But I'll never forget this guy, Chris, came to Lake Athlon. He had read every single one of my blogs. He knew exactly what he did, and he didn't do it. He lost his computer the first day he was in Guatemala. It was amazing. He lost a bag with a computer in it. But I have a large backpack, which is right now I'm checking that backpack. Okay, I used to carry 2 full-size backpacks, 15 years ago. Actually, 2 40-some liter backpacks, one on the front, one on the back, and then I took my day bag and put it in the one, and then I had a completely balanced way to walk. But I was a lot stronger at the time. But I never, my day bag never gets carried by anybody. I don't hand it to the taxi driver. I don't give it to anybody. I never let it out of my sight. My friend Rich came and picked me up to take me to the airport, and I put it up in the front seat even though there was hardly any room. Why? Because the minute, it's got to be like a part of my body so that I never forget it. Okay, so, but this has, the big backpack has like clothing and things that I really would not really get upset if I lost. And then I have this backpack, which is, I carry things like, I have 2 computers. I put 2 computers in here, and then I have a vest. Where is my vest? I have a vest which has even more important things. And then when it gets to extremely important, I have secret pockets in these clothing. There's one of them. There's a secret pocket, and what it does is, that's what goes in there normally is, like I have a pair of travel pants Okay, these are my travel pants that are for long trips. Okay, so what they have is they have a secret pocket on the right side, left side. Then each of these cargo pockets has a secret pocket inside, and then I have four secret pockets inside that. And what the goal is that that zipper closes. So see, these things close. So what is the goal of a backpack? The goal of a backpack is to protect your valuables, is to carry your valuables, okay? And probably the biggest danger to my valuables is if I put liquid inside my day bag and with my computers. A lot of people do this. They actually store their water bottles inside there. I highly recommend you don't do that. Okay, you carry it. I mean, you don't really want to have a water bottle. Some of them hang there, which makes it imbalanced. But when you have a backpack on the front and the backpack on the back, you have it in balance. Okay, and these secret pockets all have a zipper. So what do I keep in there? I keep my dollars on one side, my local money on another side, my passport in the right side, and then I have all sorts of things. And I sort of transfer it to my vest when I'm going through the the metal detector at the airport, and then I transfer it back, and then I have different places where I always use the same location. Okay, but I have the idea of carrying your backpack. The number one reason why people carry their backpack on their front is because, because they're in a large crowd and everybody's bumping up against them and you're walking through it. And people can literally bump up to you, unzip a pocket, stick their hand in. If you want to really be smart, you don't have a bunch of pockets in your backpack, okay? People can slash them. See, when you're in a big crowd, they can come up on the back of you and slice it. Really hard to do when you're, carrying your backpack on your front. Now, what I do when I have the front backpack on and the big backpack on, the 40 liter, 40, probably 50 liter one I got now, I just start spinning around, and that cleans out the crowd and gets them away from me. But I remember just knocking over some people in Haiti. It was hilarious. They were really coming at me. They really wanted me to get on the bus. They weren't doing anything bad, but they wanted me to get on the bus. They were trying to grab my backpack. So a lot of people that are bus drivers come and try to grab your backpacks. And you got to be real careful, especially taxi drivers. Taxi drivers will pick up your computer bag and drop it. I actually had one of the joints, or the hinge of one of my computers kind of damaged, okay, because the driver picked it up and he dropped it. They just don't see the baggage, and that's the reason why a check bag needs to be like the ideal check bag is really a hard case backpack. Okay, it's not like whatever. I have a plastic insert that I put in my backpack to protect the valuables. But on my backpack, I normally, I'm always in transition. Like right now, I'm wanting to sew, and I haven't been able to find a good sewing person for a couple years, but I'm going to sew a couple American flags on all my backpacks, one on each side. You got to be real careful if you do this, because the military wants the flag to point forward, so there's a definite way that the flag is supposed to be on your sleeves and stuff. But if you put these on there, what is it for? It's to get rid of the wankers that hate the United States. So it's a repellent. Best repellent is to have a flag. I even have a American flag, scarf that I can hang on my bag and be an outrageously nationalistic person, because anybody that doesn't like a person because they're from another country is a low intellect person that you need to avoid, and you need to ghost them and you need to erase them. So on the other side is when I'm in countries like South Korea or an Arabic country, or I don't know, countries, China, I want to have somebody recognize that I'm from the United States, smart enough to recognize that that flag is from the United States and I speak English. See, there's a lot of people, they can see the flag, but they don't put it together that I'm from the United States just because they see an American flag, right? But I wear the American flags also to try to find things. But the front pack is your let's see, would be the second level of security for me. Most people is going to be the first level of security. That means they're going to have everything of value in there. So you separate the things of extreme value from the things of lesser value. A trolley cart, I can't really have a trolley cart. I get them in Europe because Europe is the worst possible place to travel in the planet. I have to walk maybe 2 miles, so I often buy one of these little throwaway carts. You can buy them for $20 or $20 to $50 now, but you can buy them, I think, at Walmart, or you can buy them at often in the airports. And then you put your stuff on there, then you bungee cord everything on, and you haul it. The problem I have with these things is the handle's not long enough, so I end up walking halfway bent over like that. And anybody that has a trolley bag, so many people are almost walking bent over. Okay, if you're over 6 foot tall, very few backpacks, trolley bags are made for it. The trolley bags only work in the airports. Okay, that's about the only place. So, how much time do I actually carry my backpack in airports? It's less than 5% of the time. So I carry a backpack that I can put on my back, and I can walk through mud puddles, and I can do all those things. I can walk upstairs. And it's also attached to my body, and I'm not tempted to let go of it. See, people bump you. When you have a trolley bag, they come up and bump you. But a trolley bag with, I have never seen a really good one because they're always the wrong size. See, the only size you can have in Europe is a 7-inch by 14-inch by, 12-inch, 7-inch by 12-inch by, say, 20-inch or 18-inch. That is the only size that'll fit into Wizz Air, Pegasus Air, Ryanair, because they changed the game. And then in the United States, they don't enforce these rules, so I don't know what to say. I mean, anybody that's traveling in the United States and they got one of these really wide backpacks, they're not going to work in Europe. And I think it's, basically they've always advertised the size of the backpacks. They show those little testers, and people don't test their backpack to see if it fits in there. And the reason for a soft backpack is you can kind of squeeze them into things, okay? And the bad part about a soft backpack is it'll go wide. But to carry your backpack, so often I actually I'm carrying my little backpack from the airport, and then I have to take and transit my large backpack to another conveyor, and I will literally put the big backpack on my front. Now, the danger of having anything on your front is you can't see the ground and you can fall down. Okay, and a lot of people are proprioception, their idea of where their body parts is, especially after age about 40, they don't really, they're not very aware. That's the reason why a trolley cart is for people that really are kind of disabled mentally and physically, which is 80% of the United States because they're way too fat, okay? I mean, what are you going to say? If you're fat, you're going to have a difficult time walking around doing stuff. But if you want to travel the planet and you want to be something besides the Caribbean, Mexico, Alaska, and Paris, and England, and Australia, I always, Rick, what's that guy? Rick Steves, he's got cancer, I think. Very knowledgeable traveler on Europe, but he's a Europe, make money by talking about Europe travel writer and travel video maker. But bottom line is you have to adjust and adapt. And I adapt to my backpack. Like the last time I was in this city right here in Columbia, I only had my day bag and I had a little round pouch on the bottom of it that I put on with rope. On this bag I've had sewn on special loops so that I can put a little bundle or bindle on the bottom of it, or a little roll like something you'd have for a cowboy. And I came with only that backpack because I was going to walk through the Darien Gap, and I got all the way to Nicoclee, and I found out that it was the most organized corruption I've ever seen on the planet. 8 organizations and the mafia and the immigration are all working together, charging everybody $350, and they give you military protection, and it's a joke. Okay, and they're always going to call it a humanitarian problem because the 8 organizations make more money. Probably the biggest business on the planet is the 8 I have talked and I've made over 8 different backpacks. Okay, so I'm really aware of the structure of a backpack. And I tried to make them in the Philippines. I made one in Cusco, Peru. I made one in Thailand. I even bought this bulletproof, not bulletproof, but kind of knife-proof material that was almost impossible to sew. And I've done it different ways, but I finally realized that you have these pack safes with these wire things. Those things are kind of worthless, okay? They are definitely worthless. You can put your hand through. Okay, anything, they may help you in India to not get your bag just stolen. I have a dog chain where I basically create a way to chain all my backpacks together when I'm in a train, like in India or something like that, or I'm in the airport and I want to relax, or I'm on a boat. And I say I'm on a boat going to Koh Phangan, Thailand, and I'm there for 2 hours and I fall asleep. I tie everything together. I'll never forget I was in the Netherlands and I was in one of these hostels with about 30 people. It's got to be the worst possible quality of life. I decided that I had to go to the airport, get there early, so I just went to the airport. And then it was one of the most comfortable airports in Amsterdam that I ever had. It was hilarious. I got a cart, I tied up my backpacks, everything. They had a flat cart without those little arms. I laid on there and it was so much better than a hostel. But I have made 8 different backpacks, and it's even got a name called the windmill backpacks because of Don Quixote. Don Quixote, one of my friends called it my windmill or my Don Quixote backpack because I'm chasing windmills, chasing an ideal. And I'm still wanting to make one. The problem is I finally realized that the only way to do this is I got to buy about, say, $30,000 worth of material in the United States. And then I got to check it. I got to make sure all the quality is good, and then I got to go to a country like China or Guatemala and manufacture the product. And then I got to ship them in bulk, airport to airport, because of so many problems. But I would say the best country for me to do this would probably be China. Okay, I tried to do it in the Philippines. They are very sloppy. The IQ of Chinese people is really about the highest on the planet. So I think the best place for me to do it. But I'm not going to sell much gear unless I can go big, because I need to hire a person that monitors the website, because it's just too difficult to monitor with my different IPs. But yeah, so buying material in other countries, everything's fake. They have YKK zippers that are fake. They have everything. Every single backpack should. But what people need to do is adapt. And what this guy didn't see is that this person that was wearing it on the front had adapted. Okay, they adapted to some reason that told them they felt safer. And that's what the goal is to protect your goods. So if you're wearing it on the front and you feel safer. I mean, there's many, the balance. So say I'm going to walk with my day bag for, I don't know, let's say I'm going to do the walk in, what do you call it, the Santiago, whatever walk in between France and Spain, and I'm going to carry a backpack, a small backpack. I'm going to put it on my front for a while, then on my back for a while, my front on the while. I'm going to move it back and forth. Why? Because there's a wicking thing on the material, but it'll sweat, and you're going to make a real wet thing. I interviewed a guy that had a special wicking material that made a space between them. But I didn't publish it because of many reasons. But you really need to move your backpack around, because you will soak your backpack with sweat. Okay, and I do it all the time. A backpack is, but where's the best place to carry my heavy backpack? Say I'm going to go in an airport. Say I'm going to go just 100 yards with my backpack in an airport. Know what I do with it? I put it on my head, because it's the most balanced way to carry a backpack. the Sherpas or whatever that go up Mount, that help and assist in going up Mount Everest in Nepal. They often carry 2 bags or whatever and carry them on your head. If you go to the Inca Trail in Peru or Machu Picchu, they're going to be carrying 2 or 3 backpacks. But most backpacks are hilarious because they're hiking backpacks and they're not travel backpacks. Hiking backpacks have too much adjustment. I often take all the adjustments and sew them shut so that they can't adjust themselves anymore. I have to leave the adjustment a little bit on the front one. You see that lock right there? I have it so that I can lock things. I often get a gun lock. I have different methods of it. But the biggest problem about, the only reason to not have your backpack on the front is if you're so afraid that you're showing fear. And if you're showing fear, you need to go to a coffee shop and relax and stop being afraid and take a taxi. If you're afraid walking down the road, take a taxi. You don't really ever want to walk with all your possessions as you are walking. To carry all your possessions. The most dangerous time of my life is between the airport and the hotel. I don't know the country, and everybody's talking in a different language, and the whole culture's different. I don't understand the rules, and until I get to the airport. So I always take a taxi. Walking all the time with all your backpack stuff is foolish. I very seldom walk with my backpack. I mean, but that's the reason why Europe is so onerous, is because in Europe the taxi's going to cost $50, and I always kind of downsize and get a smaller backpack and get rid of the big backpack when I go to Europe because it won't fit on these low-cost carriers. But the low-cost carriers are very difficult. And then I have this special pillow that I can put clothing in, and then I wear my vest, and I can put 20. So my backpack, my vest probably carries about 10 pounds. My front, I carry about 20 pounds because I have 2 computers. 20 pounds in that day bag on the front, then about 40 pounds in the back. And I have everything that I enjoy living with. And that is the prime directive, to have what you need, what you want to be happy. But I'm not on a vacation. I'm living, and I have to adjust to different climates. I have to adjust to different things. I have to have a sweatshirt. I have to have layers of stuff. I have one of these space blankets that you can fold up, that you can dig. I actually carry a front sheet and a top sheet because I think it's on the wall. Yeah, you can see it. That's a 100% cotton. I'm carrying a 100% cotton sheet for on top of the bed, and then I'm carrying a blanket. A blanket. Can go figure. But travel is a system. It's a dynamic, interrelated system where you have different systems. You have your pants, which is a system. You have your shirt, which is a system. You have your women would have a purse often. That's a system. They have a day bag. That's a system. And then you have your big backpack, and then everything is interrelated, and then they work together. So I keep, like I said, I keep the high priority stuff in my vest. I keep the extreme high priority in my secret pockets. I keep the lesser priority in my day bag, which I never take out of my possession. I always have it sitting on my leg. And then I do it. By the way, I don't carry my passport with me when I leave the room, or all my money. I hide things. But I can instantly tell if somebody's a traveler, because a traveler has learned that people steal things, especially in Central and South America and Mexico. From Mexico, I don't know what. It's like the Catholic religion is the thieves on the planet. I have no idea why. But there's a definite correlation between theft and Catholic religion. But they were the conquistadors, right? And all these countries were the progeny of conquistadors, okay? But I could tell a traveler because he or she would have their foot thing, and they don't, when they have a money belt, which is a really horrible thing. Money belts are very uncomfortable, and most of the time you can see the strap behind the thing, especially with girls and fat people, and they can just come up, cut the thing, and pull it away and run because they know what's in it. That's why the secret pockets are good. But the money belts, normally a lot of people get them stolen because they sit down in a restaurant, the thing's too big on the front, they take it out, they put it on the table in the restaurant, boom, somebody runs by, takes it, steals it. Uh, Strategically thinking is a problem for 95% of people. It's been proven by the military that only 5 to 7% of people can actually think strategically. So a lot of you should be watching videos of somebody that you trust. If a person ever says anything where, like anybody really with advertising, that really promotes advertising is going to lie about something. There's really a temptation for lie. I mean, it's really sad what advertising is. But most travel writers are making money by living in hotels. And so how do you know a travel writer is lying? Their mouth's moving. How do you know a travel video maker's lying? Their mouth's moving. Okay? I don't know anybody. I mean, I guess Fred Ruddick is about the only one that comes close to telling the truth in a blunt way. He gets on our Patreon meetings on Sunday. He's not a Patreon, but I have him for different reasons because there's different people I invite that can help me have knowledge that is safe to go to other countries. Like Will Quark, he's really smart. I have a backpack that I can lose. I have to have a backpack. One of the biggest problems with backpacks is transportation. You know, when I see a backpack that's too wide, if you really want to know how thick a backpack can be, or your trolley bag, or your luggage, it's got to be able to slide under the seats of a shuttle van. Okay, got to be able to slide under. You want it to be able to slide under. You want it to be able to fit above the airport seats in those baggage compartments. You don't want them to have to put it up on top where it's going to start raining and get soaked and destroy everything. And you want to be able to watch it. See, if they put it up on top, it's hard to watch. Okay, but I have a trouble when I go to Africa or Dominican Republic or something. They have these motorcycle taxis, which are very dangerous. But I tie a round bundle on the bottom of it, just a rolled up bundle, and then I make it elevates the thing so that I can sit up on the motorcycle, and that can sit on the back rack of the motorcycle. But it needs to fit under the seat. And the way you lose a backpack in a bus is you put your backpack above the seat, and when somebody walks by, picks up your backpack, gets off the bus, and leaves. That's how they do it. Extremely common. The only place it's safe in a bus to store your backpack is in front of your feet. Or you can give it to the people, the big ones, you can put on top of the bus because that person is watching. Often in certain countries like Mexico, Peru, whatever, theft is rampant. I mean, there's just no limit to the amount of things. But you want to have a backpack that doesn't look like $1 million. Okay, you want to have it look scruffy. I bought a backpack when I went to Iraq, and I was laughing at this girl. It was a blue backpack. I'm never going to buy a black one. Okay, I bought a blue backpack, and I took some black paint and I sprayed it. Went back about 5 feet, and I sprayed it and spread it. Then I threw it in the dirt and dusted it all up and made it grungy looking. A grungy looking backpack is safe. The worst possible thing is like, leaving your airport tag on your bag to try to brag, or if you're like a skier, you got those little ski things saying you do it. These things are signals. Having a Apple iPhone is definitely a signal that you should be robbed, that you're volunteering to be robbed instead of me. But a lot of backpack is fashion. The only thing I say that's safe, though, is don't buy a black one. Okay. If you really want to recognize your bag, tie a scarf on it. That's a good way to do it. There's cliche fashions, like the Israelis always have a water cover on it. A lot of backpackers in Central and South America are carrying a little rubber pad so that they can camp. Camping is highly dangerous in Central and South America. It's probably okay in the United States, maybe in the Scandinavian countries because they have every man's law. But I definitely think from Mexico to Chile, it's got to be the most likelihood to get robbed at any place. So don't do it. But these pads, man up, woman up, become an alpha male, grin and bear it, and don't carry a pack. It's just a waste of time. But there's cliche things that people do. Like some countries, everybody has a stainless steel water bottle. A plastic water bottle is bad for your health. A stainless steel one is, or a ceramic coated one inside is okay. But a water bottle just as much. I don't carry a water bottle. I used to think about it. But when I want to carry a water bottle, I just buy a liter bottle of water to carry because they don't leak. They're really good. Most of you really, to weigh yourself with a backpack, if you want to know how much your backpack weighs, you you put your backpack, you weigh it, and then you stand on the scales weigh yourself, you stand on the scales with the backpack, and then you subtract your weight. Wheels, the only kind of wheels that would ever work would be big balloon ones that somehow are big enough that they can go through a mud puddle. And they got to be wide enough so your backpack don't fall over. I don't know how many people with these trolley carts. I'm walking along and I'm waiting for them and I'm waiting for them and I'm waiting for them because their trolley cart, they're trying to pull it over cobblestone, they're trying to pull it over stuff. It just don't work, okay? They're only good for airports, okay? But a good backpack has clips across the zippers to do it. But the reason why you carry it on the front is for safety. Again, I'm going to say this over and over. This guy was such a wanker because he didn't realize that made the person feel safe. Why is that important? If the prime directive is that you enjoy yourself, then you want to feel safe. Okay. The ideal, and I've been trying to get the ideal backpack to me is a saddlebag one where you have a way to hook half the weight on the front, half the weight on the back. One of them was an expandable day bag, and because I go buy groceries and I don't have enough room in my backpack, and then I end up having, I'll never forget my friend Jeff, we was in Mongolia, and he bought a real small backpack so he wouldn't buy anything. So I take a picture of him with the front backpack, and 2 sacks, right? Just couldn't stop himself, right? One of the reasons why you have messenger bags or day bags or these gay bags, I don't know what you want to call them, I call them gay bags, these ones on your shoulder for men. The reason why people do that normally is because they can't stick their arms through the straps. It's very difficult for a lot of people to actually put their arms in these straps. And if they're fat, it really becomes almost impossible at a certain level because, it's just too much. Even at my size, I have trouble. The messenger bags are imbalanced. So you have the weight on one side and the weight, so all the weight's on one side, and you're going to put your body out of balance, okay? And I think carrying these messenger bags or day bags or computer bags with one strap on the shoulder is kind of silly. I do it sometimes just to walk in the airport for like 50 yards or something like that. I may just put it on one shoulder, but the side messenger bags are normally easy to open, easy to steal, and easy to tell what they are. The more it looks like a purse, the more people rob it. A computer bag should not look like a computer bag. A camera bag should not look like a camera bag. People that wear these little square camera bags, you're volunteering to get robbed, and I appreciate it. The best I would like to see, part of the dynamic part of travel would be to have travel pins, and I would have clips on it, and I would be able to literally clip my backpack to my pants, and I would be able to fall asleep, or I could even lock it to my pants. I would never forget, I was in Taiwan, Taipei, Taiwan, and I saw this National Geographic kind of light-colored backpack, travel camera bag, and it had Velcro openings. And I was like going, so you're going to put some of the most expensive equipment in the world with Velcro. Okay, now don't get me wrong. There's reasons why a camera guy needs to have quick access. And you can always tell a actual professional cameraman because they'll have two or three cameras hanging around their neck. If they only got one, they're just a playboy. They're just playing. These water bags that you have that you carry, that's just a joke. You can't clean them, and they're going to taste like rubber. They're going to poison you with microplastic. The only thing maybe of value is for those water bags, those Camelback water bags, is maybe for the military when they're sitting there on duty in Iraq at 40 degrees centigrade temperature for 18 hours, just protecting the tank or protecting the CIA or whatever, and they're going to get dehydrated because they got a bulletproof vest on and they're going to get hot. Also for bikers, maybe. I'm going to stop there, but there's so much things I could talk about backpacks. Patreon, most people are going to. One reason why I'm showing you my whole room, and I have no remorse at all, is because you have to realize that travel is messy. You're in a constant adaptive stage, and actually my room is extremely organized right now. Okay, even though it may appear to you cluttered, it's organized. I have all my clean clothes over here. I have my underwear over here. I have my my supplements, medicine up here, so I can do it. I have a fan next to the window, so I got electrical system over here. I got 2 computers over on the thing. I got a sheet that's drying. I dry things. I got an umbrella that I bought. I got a reading light on my bed. I have everything that makes me happy. And this is where people, you don't want to copy somebody else. You want to develop your own world. A person that cares about what other people think is a slave to that person. I think Lao Tzu said that. Don't be a slave to anybody. Be a slave to yourself. Define and create your own world and construct a life that is worth living. But if you're going to travel the world, you got to be able to live in chaos and be totally happy. Because a control freak, somebody that has to have a place for everything and everything in place, is always going to be angry. And the best way to find out if you're going to should get married to your wife is go on a 6-month trip around the planet with her or him, and you'll find out instantly whether or not you are compatible. Now, why don't I like this microphone? If this thing is not working, I just made maybe a half hour to a 45-minute video or more, and it didn't record anything. And these connections are never things. See, they don't have like right here, the little thing should have a blinking light that it's recording, right? There should be on the thing, it should be blinking. And on the whether you should have different things that are blinking saying it's work. Like I only buy the electrical systems. My electrical for my smartphones it's 12210. It goes both ways, and it has a light on it. I always get the ones with lights so that I know that the electricity is going into the plug and I got a good connection. A lot of connections in rooms are bad. Okay, I hope that's helpful to you guys, and I could ramble on for another 2 hours on backpacks. There's always some story about backpacks that I can tell you. I'll never forget when I was on the Rio Napo in, I guess it was in Peru, and this guy Barry, me and Pascal were on this boat, and we were going to. We actually had a hammock. We tied the backpack right above us, and then it was connected to us, so we were sleeping in the hammock. And Barry didn't do that. He went over and slept with this thing. He was this rich guy from Switzerland. And they stole his backpack. He had a $800 jacket. He was wearing a $6,000 camera. We were very grateful. He didn't speak any language except German, and we were very grateful in the way that he got robbed. What was interesting, though, is I contacted a bunch of people and tried to buy it back, and he could have bought it back for $100, and he wouldn't do it because he wasn't going to pay the thief to get his backpack. But he ended up losing like $7,000-8,000 because of it. But entitled people are entitled to live the life they live, and when you're a little rich kid. Contrary to what you think, the backpackers are rich, and the tourists are the poor ones. The backpackers are going on a trip that often costs $10,000 to $20,000. Are you willing to spend $20,000 to travel the planet? People think that I'm poor, but I have enough money and time to travel anywhere. Okay, become a patron if you'd like to sit on, like tonight we're having every Sunday at 9 p.m. we're having a Zoom meeting, and it's becoming very solid. I could talk about it. If only one person shows up, I'll be happy, but I'm thinking about 6 or 8 people will show up, and each week it's going to grow, and life is good. I will continue to make a few videos using these microphones, but it's really, I would like to talk. I made a Google Doc sheet of every problem, of everything I want in a camera. I'd really like to sit with one of these camera companies and explain all the problems with the camera. They just don't get it. But a person that uses something learns how the problems with that something. A person, if you can't say the pros and cons of any situation, you're really not capable of thinking strategically. See, there's always a situation that is an exception to the rule. I mean, there's always a reason why, like say I was going to go with Elon Musk on a trip, I might go to a trolley bag and a light duty suit or something like that, or something so that I didn't make him feel uncomfortable. Nah, I would dress like I wouldn't give a crap. But you can see there's times when you gotta, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You try to fit in. I'll never forget when Tiffany brought this pink backpack or something like that. Suitcase. It was this big, this wide, and she says, "Bring it up the steps." I said, "Get that young man down there to do it." She goes, "You do it." I said, "I'm not going to carry something that stupid up the steps." I said, "I'll pay him $3 and he'll carry it up the steps." The object of travel is learning how to use porters, skyjacks. A skyjack is the guy that carries the stuff at an airport. A porter is somebody that's like at a train. You got different names for these people. You got the bellman at an airport, at a hotel. I was a bellman in Port St. Lucie, Florida, for almost 6 months. Very fun job. And the goal of a bellman is to make the life of the person happy. Okay, but I'm here and you're not. Why not? And I hope this microphone works. Please. La vida belle. La vida es bien.